tonight are on the broad road that leads to destruction. And tonight, I would say with Moses, I would say with Joshua, turn, repent, choose God, serve Him, live for Him. That is the message of God tonight to this great audience of people at Yankee Stadium.
I see revival coming to planet Earth, maybe as never before. It will be untold numbers, and untold, uncounted multitudes that will be saved. The dead will be raised. The arthritic will be healed. Cancer will be healed. No disease would be able to stand before God's people, and that it would be a worldwide situation.
There's a church that doesn't just know about God, they know God. They don't just believe in His power, they carry His power. God will shake the United States of America one last time, not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Check the Market Friday edition. As you can see behind me, stocks are going straight to the moon. How's everybody doing? Amy, blessings to you. Sandra, Emily, Eric, it's my jam too. Alice, Latin Rose from Orange County, California. What's the weather like over there? Bet you it's nice. Palm trees swaying in the wind. It'll be summer soon.
It will be. Don't you worry.
D&D Investments. Thank you, thank you. Pre-market, let's see what everything's doing pre-market. It looks like pre-market is still down a little bit, although we had good news. So we'll see what happens. Yesterday, the day started out nicely, and then everything ended up south. So if the market ends up down today, then it'll definitely be an up day by the end of the day. Happy Friday to you. Good morning, Scott. Zach, Joyce, Angela. Thanks for tuning in. What's going on in the world today?
Lots is happening in the world. Always lots happening in the world. So let's check what's happening in the news. Lindsey Graham. Is there a Brutus in Russia? Is there a more successful Colonel Stauffenberg in the Russian military?
Oh, wow.
The only way this ends is for somebody in Russia to take this guy out. You would be doing your country and the world a great service. So Lindsey Graham from South Carolina advocating for the assassination of Putin.
Somebody's been watching too much HBO.
Seriously, the dude needs to take a chill pill.
We all know what happened to Brutus in the end, though, because Caesar Augustus went after him. So if you want to be a Brutus in Russia, be careful.
Be very careful. This is like one of the most.
He's picking horrible Colonel Stauffen. Oh, more successful.
More successful.
Okay. I was
Yes,
gonna say
no,
these are all horrible
These
examples
are
because
horrible
both those
examples.
people died.
They're dead, like gone. Nonetheless, I don't think this was a smart move by Lindsey Graham. I think it was a very stupid decision to call for the assassination of Putin.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's an establishment Republican, so we'll leave it there. Next, they lied about the. So this is the nuclear plant in Ukraine. I'm not gonna try it.
Zaporizhia.
Yeah. I don't
Zaporizhia.
know. The
Zaporizhia.
Z, we called it last night at Check the News, the Z nuclear plant. So they lied about the Z nuclear plant because they want to pull the U.S. into the war. The lies will become bigger. It's going to get worse.
What do you mean they lied about it?
So they lied saying that it was all under attack, that it was going to, radiation was going to seep everywhere.
When it was just like the training center that was on fire. Or
the administrative building. Like
Yeah.
It's all okay, people. All okay. Next. Breaking report, NFL suspends all COVID protocols, drops all mask and testing requirements regardless of vaccination status. Sign of the times.
They're not following the science.
The new science, Patrick. It's the new science of today. It changes on a whim. Next. Epic Times. We look forward to providing information on the many safety and privacy protections we have for teens. TikTok, owned by Beijing-based, ByteDance. What a weird name for a company. I feel like that's something you would name a company, ByteDance, just because you could.
I don't know if I could be that creative.
All right, we'll start over. TikTok, owned by Beijing-based ByteDance, is subject to a probe by a bipartisan coalition concerned about the effects of the app on kids and teens. Next. Can we blow this up a little bit more? The popular video sharing app TikTok, owned by Beijing-based ByteDance, is now the subject of a probe by a bipartisan coalition of attorney generals who are concerned about the effects of the app on children and teens. The attorneys general of California, Florida, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Nebraska, Tennessee, and Vermont are spearheading the investigation. The investigation will look into the harms of such usage causes to young users and Patrick alike, and what TikTok knew about those
That's why I
harms.
deleted it.
Exactly. The investigation focuses, among other things, on the techniques utilized by TikTok to boost younger user engagement, including increasing the duration of the time spent on the platform and frequency of engagement with the platform. Nebraska Attorney General Doug Peterson, a Republican, said in a March 2nd statement. We won't continue on, but nonetheless, even last year and the year before that, 2020, 2021, we also saw a ton of headlines talking about TikTok being a national security threat, which you would not necessarily think from a innocent video sharing platform, but nonetheless, it's not only a national security threat, but it's also hurting and harming the next generation, and Patrick included.
Yes.
So good on you for deleting the app. Next. NRA. Breaking news, Alabama legislature passes NRA-backed constitutional carry, headed to governor's desk. I'm very excited to see this trend in the United States. Next. Breaking news, Biden weighing sanctions on ally India over Russian military stockpiles from the Hill. What do you think about that? I wanted to pull this up specifically to get your take on it.
He's trying to force it. I don't know.
It's like they're literally
Don't-
trying to like force
yeah.
people's hands.
Don't tell me what to do. Who are you to
Exactly.
tell me what to do? These politicians all think they're like our parents.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't do this, then I'm gonna give you time out. Get out of here.
Get out of our life. Go away. I agree. Next.
India will stop manufacturing therapeutics and medications then, or sanction the U.S. with that. Then what are they gonna do if they can't import it? They're the world's largest manufacturer of that stuff.
And then you're at a standstill.
Exactly.
Dang. CTV Montreal. As Quebecers were questioning if curfews worked, so were health officials' emails show. This is kind of interesting. Next. As many Quebecers demanded a scientific explanation for their repeated COVID-19 curfew, it turns out the province's public health chief was doing the same. Dang. According to emails unveiled in an accessed information request by Radio Canada, who finally is doing some sort of credible journalism, thank God, Dr. Arruda, the public health director at the time, was scrambling for scientific justification to bring back the curfew as this past New Year's Eve approached, hours before the move was announced. Arruda had already agreed in writing to bring back the curfew on December 29th, the day before the announcement. Next. But on December 30th, just 6 hours before the government's press conference to tell the public, a flurry of emails shows he was canvassing staff to find research to provide to a skeptical media. The chief official would like you and your teams, ! To provide him with an argument in connection with a curfew in anticipation of questions from journalists at the 5 p.m. press conference this evening, wrote his assistant at 10:31 a.m. the same day according to the documents the government provided. She addressed the email to two top officials in the INSPQ Public Health Institute, Livtek and Reynaud. Dr. Arruda wants to know two things, she wrote. One, what are the studies? Two, what is being done elsewhere? He wanted it all in a tight argument, she wrote. That wasn't possible. Livtek responded about 4 hours later, less than 3 hours before the press conference began. Next. On the INSPQ side, we have no existing analysis that specifically relates to the curfew, and we are unfortunately unable to produce one today with such short notice, he wrote. Livtek did, however, send Arruda some studies from other countries, notably France and Jordan, that he'd looked at when he suggested the first curfew a year earlier. And as we all know, the science seems to develop, because that's what science does. And if they had provided data from the current year, they would have shown from even other countries that curfews do nothing. Zilch, they actually harm more than help. Nonetheless, it was interesting. You can continue going on your own time through this email, this article rather. It's interesting stuff. Next. When mom says no, but dad says yes. Nice. Next. Did you see the interview up top? I was like, Mama, you either get a mask on your face or you tell your son to get his off of his. Like, the stupidity of it all. It's great. It's great.
He got a pardon from the governor. He's
Yes,
never
exactly.
putting one on again.
He shouldn't ever go back home. Just saying. But that smug look says it all. Next. Supreme Court rules Kentucky Attorney General can continue defense of abortion law. The Supreme Court ruled that Kentucky's Attorney General can continue defending a previously blocked state abortion restriction. So good news coming out of Alabama. Kentucky, not Alabama. What am I thinking? Next. Russia's upper house of parliament approved a draft law on Friday that would impose a jail term of up to 15 years for people who intentionally spread fake information about Russia's armed forces. Interesting stuff. I kind of see this as like somebody's being very insecure about the information floating out there because it just might possibly be true, and so they might just jail a bunch of people.
Yeah.
This is going to be their justification to do that. Next.
NATO chief, I saw this morning, says military alliance not seeking a war with Russia. So now that they've taken over that nuclear plant, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says the military alliance is not seeking a war with Russia, adding that Russia's onslaught in Ukraine had created a new normal for our security. Isn't that like crazy? They're just throwing the Ukraine under the bus now. NATO is a defensive alliance. Our core task is to keep our 30 nations safe. Stoltenberg said after an extraordinary meeting of NATO foreign ministers, we are not part of this conflict and we have a responsibility to ensure it does not escalate and spread beyond Ukraine, because that would be even more devastating and more dangerous with even more human suffering. So, looks like NATO has just thrown in the towel.
Ukraine is done.
Yep. NATO isn't going to intervene. They're not going to do anything besides sanctions. That's it. They're done.
Which, why should they do anything?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, Ukraine is not a part of the alliance.
But they kept telling the Ukraine that they got their back.
Yeah.
So the Ukraine was poking the bear, so to speak, and NATO was like, it's okay, you can do it, you can do this. Yeah, no, we got your back. And then as soon as the bear woke up,
knife.
Well, you know what? We don't
care about you
guys
anymore.
got this.
All those grandpas fighting on the streets. Got it. You're good. Which at the end of the day is probably like better old people fighting on the streets than the woke transies on the streets as well. So
Yep.
that are with NATO. So
Next. Rest in peace, dear comrade. Russian investment analyst drinks to the death of the stock market on live
What?
television. Let's see it. A Russian stock market analyst pulled out a bottle and drank to the death of Russia's stock market during an interview on live on local television. The clip went viral Thursday, a week into the Russian invasion of neighboring Ukraine, and as Russia's economy is hammered with Western sanctions, are stock market strategies outdated now, or do you hope to still remain in the profession? The show's host on Russian channel RBC asked Alexander Budmanov, founder of the financial technology firm DTI Algorithmic. The host introduced him as an expert on the stock market strategies. Worst case scenario, I'm going to work as a Santa Claus as I did 25 years ago. Budmanov replied, according to a translation verified by CNBC. Continue.
yeah, you definitely want to verify that translation, eh?
Excluding jokes, let's do this quickly. I send regards to Sergei Usichenko, who drank 13 years ago to the death of the stock market. Budmanov reached down, opened a glass bottle, and looked directly into the camera. Today I'm drinking carbonated water. Dear stock market, you were close to us. You were interesting. Rest in peace, dear comrade. The host looked on in disbelief, saying, I'm going to comment on this stunt because I don't want to. I'm not going to comment on this stunt because I don't want to believe it. Also, you do not want to get arrested. So let's not comment. Do we have the video?
Со мной в
There we
студии
go.
сегодня Александр Бутманов, экономист, основатель инвестиционного клуба «Союзники», эксперт по биржевым стратегиям. Александр, здравствуйте.
Приветствую, добрый день, не говорю.
Да, никто уже сейчас не говорит. Биржевые стратегии сегодня это вообще атовизм или вы еще надеетесь в профессии остаться?
В крайнем случае я буду работать Дедом Морозом, как 25 лет назад.
Ну, это раз в год только. Ну,
Да. Кроме шуток, давайте быстренько я это сделаю. Я передаю привет Сергею Усиченко, который пел 12 лет назад, 13,
Only in
за
Russia.
смерть фондового рынка. Сегодня я пью газировку. Дорогой фондовый рынок, ты был нам близок, был интересен. Покойся с миром, дорогой товарищ.
Я не буду комментировать этот флешмоб, не хочу, потому что я в это верить. Давайте про такие нормальные...
So there you have it.
Go.
They're drinking to the death of the Russian stock market, which has been closed for 5 days now.
5 days.
No trading.
That's
So he's going back to work as a Santa Claus,
Santa Claus.
which I know market's open. Dow Jones down 360, NASDAQ down 79, S&P down 36, which means that at the end of the day, everything's going to be up about 300 points.
Something to look forward to today.
Yep, exactly. So, but I know exactly what that gentleman feels. A lot of times when I pick the wrong stock and it goes down, I feel like drinking to the
Drinking
death of
to
the
the death of
stock
the market. Jeez.
Carl, that's right. Even their stock analysts look like Navy SEALs. It's
Yeah,
true.
it's true. Oh, gosh.
And no, they did not background check that guy. Continue.
Oh, dear.
Wharton Siegel, Fed shouldn't hold back on rates. Wharton Professor Siegel is concerned about inflation and worries that the Russia-Ukraine war will prompt the Fed to slow its interest rate hikes. Let's see it. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said Wednesday that he supported a 0.25 percentage point increase in interest rates by the Fed at its meeting this month. The renowned Wharton finance professor Jeremy Siegel disagrees. He told CNBC that the central bank at its meeting should lift rates by 0.5 percentage point. Siegel is concerned about inflation, with consumer prices soaring 7.5% in the 12 months through January, the biggest increase in almost 40 years. This is not the time to slow down on rate hikes. Siegel said it would be a big policy mistake for the Fed to curb its rate increases in response to the Russia-Ukraine war. Continue. To be sure, the Fed has never committed to a 0.5 point move for March. Interest rate markets priced in such a rise after the consumer price report, but they returned to a forecast of 0.25%. A 0.25 percentage point shortly afterwards, and Powell didn't cite the war in Ukraine as a factor in his Wednesday call for a 0.25 point hike. The implications for the U.S. economy are highly uncertain, and we will be monitoring the situation closely. Continue. To the extent that the war does play a factor in Fed policy, it could actually lead to more hawkishness. That's because it's pushing commodity prices higher. Powell said in congressional testimony Thursday that the war was likely to boost inflation. I think it's fair to say that this war has changed the risk profile a little bit with respect to inflation, he said, according to the Wall Street Journal. So it looks they really do need to keep going with their, because they're way too late on it anyways, and Jeremy Siegel's a very smart guy, so I think that they should listen to him and keep going with the interest rate hikes to keep inflation in check, if that's still a possibility. Continue. Ukraine and Russia are buying crypto as never before, Arcane Research. Continue. Activity from major cryptocurrency exchanges suggests people from Ukraine and Russia are seeking out crypto as a safe haven asset, finds Arcane Research. In a report published on March 1st, analysts at Arcane found the activity on crypto exchange Binance indicative of significant buying activity from both countries. On February 28th, there was a massive increase in trading volume in the ruble pairs on Binance. The volume between stablecoin Tether and the Russian ruble hit an all-time high of $35 billion. These volume increases could indicate that Russians seek stablecoins to get dollar exposure ahead of possible sanctions directed towards Russian crypto traders. Continue. However, the rising volumes could also be caused by market makers seeking to eliminate their ruble exposure. So yeah, that could be too. But there you have it. That's the daily volume in Bitcoin versus the ruble. So as you can see there, February 24th, it started spiking. Actually around the 21st there. Continue. The Bitcoin and ruble trading pair also saw a significant increase over the same period. On February 24th, the daily volume between Bitcoin and ruble exceeded 16 million. Analysts noted Ukrainians have also been increasingly seeking crypto exposure. The Bitcoin, whatever their currency is called, and trading pairs reportedly saw enormous increases trading over the same period. So, looks like both the Russians and the Ukrainians are getting crypto exposure to protect themselves to protect their finances from what is going on there, which is smart. Continue. There's huge spikes there too. On February 26th, a Ukrainian refugee told Bitcoin Magazine he was able to use Bitcoin as a way to create across the border to Poland after the Ukrainian central bank suspended electronic cash transfers and ATMs after the country had been invaded. So I think it's smart just to have a little bit of cryptocurrency exposure. It's always good to have some crypto exposure. And this is just another example why. Next. February jobs report, payrolls rise by 678,000 as unemployment rate falls to 3.8%. Let's see what they revise it to next month. The U.S. economy added back the most jobs since July 21 in February, with job growth accelerating even in the already tight labor market as new Omicron cases from earlier this year came down. The Labor Department released its February jobs report Friday at 8:30 a.m. Here were the main metrics from the print compared to census estimates compiled by Bloomberg. Continue. Non-farm payrolls, 678,000 versus 423,000 expected, and an upwardly revised 481,000 in January. I don't know how they missed this, because January was a loss of like 500,000, but now it's plus 481,000. So I don't know. Are they just guessing at this point? Unemployment rate is 3.8 versus 3.9 expected, and 4 in January. Average hourly earnings month over month, 0 versus 0.5 expected. So that's good news on the labor front there. I think a lot of that had something to do with the fact that student loans are coming back online this month, I believe. And so a lot of people are going to have to go back to work so that they can pay off those student loans. All those baristas are going to have to go back to work. Continue.
I know some of them.
Total non-farm payroll. There it is. All right, next. Next article. China calls on rare earth companies to bring prices back to reasonable level. This is good news. Let's see it. China summoned some key rare earths companies amid continuously rising product prices and urged them to ensure a steady supply chain to help cool prices, the regulator said on Friday. The Ministry of Industry and Information Technology said in a statement that it had instructed producers, including China Rare Earth Group, China Northern Rare Earth Group, and Shanghai Resources, to regulate their operation and trading and to prevent any market speculation or hoarding. The authority also urged the companies to take a lead in promoting a pricing mechanism for rare earth products and jointly bring prices back to a reasonable range. So China going after those companies there. Who knows if there has been hoarding? I'm sure there has been a little bit of it, but that's good that they're at least stepping in. This is what they need to do. Yeah, they would never do that here, or tell mining companies to mine more. They would actually tell them to stop mining. So I think this is good. China, great job. Continue. Prices of rare earths, a group of 17 minerals used in electric vehicles and military equipment and everything. Phones, cameras, TVs, everything. Have surged in the second half of 21 amid concerns of supply uncertainty from Myanmar and strong demand, or dare I say Burma.
Burma.
Might get banned for that. The Chinese price of praseodymium, neodymium,
Some kind of
alloy used to make super strong magnets for EV motors has powered 32% so far this year to 1.38 million won per ton. A price index issued by the Association of China Rare Earth Industry stood at 429.4%. I think China mines about 80% of all the rare earth minerals in the world. So with the Chinese government stepping in and bringing prices down, that should stabilize some things. Next. Lawmakers from both parties say banning Russian oil may be worth the hurt. It's because they don't drive.
Because they're the same parties.
Because they walk from Congress to their
literally.
apartments.
But they bike.
Continue.
They're all greenies and they bike to work.
Let's see it.
Oh, jeez.
The Biden administration's sanctions strategy hinges on levying severe sanctions on pretty much every facet of the Russian economy except energy, but that plan is getting more and more pushback in Washington, even from some members of Biden's own party. Russia is the world's second largest producer of natural gas and third largest producer of crude oil, and while the energy market has begun to impose some sort of de facto ban, the sanctions were designed to try to minimize the impact on global energy prices. I don't think any American today wants to have a single gallon of Russian gas in their cars. Representative Nancy Mace, our South Carolina, said in Yahoo Finance Live interview Wednesday, adding, "We import about 600,000 barrels a day, and those barrels are stained with Ukrainian blood. And in an interview with Politico, Senator Lisa Murkowski added that blocking Russian oil is worth it, even as she acknowledged this is going to hurt. She says Americans need to recognize Europe is in the midst of a war with Russia now. Murkowski is teaming up with Senator Joe Manchin on a forthcoming bill to ban the importing of Russian crude oil and petroleum products in the United States. If they don't increase oil production in the United States, this is not going to be good. This is their fault. They're the ones that are importing. There's plenty of oil in the United States that they can use.
Yeah, exactly.
United States, Canada, Mexico.
Mexico, yeah.
There's so much oil in this region, and they're harping on Russia. But what about Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia doesn't have a friendly regime.
Iran.
They murder Christians. You know what I mean? Iran,
Yeah.
importing from all these, Libya. So please.
It's intentional. And then they say,
Continue.
this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
Like,
From Biden's left flank comes Ed Markey, the liberal senator who has helped lead the effort on the Green New Deal. Also reported he has plans to introduce his own bill banning imports, but Markey comes at the issue from a different perspective. He wants to use the opportunity to supercharge the green energy sector. And another influential name joined the push Thursday when House Speaker Nancy Pelosi voiced her support for the stopping of oil imports from Russia during her weekly press conference. I'm all for that, she said, ban it. The United States has an abundance of natural resources, and until we can all get on electric cars, know that you are filling your car with gas. There's Russian oil in there.
good. If it keeps costs down, I'm happy with it.
Many are expecting Republicans to capitalize on the issue either way during the upcoming midterm elections.
Jeez.
Oil prices amid Russia-Ukraine tensions. Next. Charles Schwab files for crypto economy ETF with the SEC. So Charles Schwab, an investment bank,
Interesting.
getting into filing for a crypto economy ETF. All right, let's go take a look at some stocks to research. Yesterday, I was asked about AMPG, Amplitech Group, which is actually on my watch list, and I know I talked about this one last year. It designs, engineers, and assembles microwave component-based amplifiers for wideband telecommunications for military, space, satellite communications, and commercial applications. They've supplied these to Lockheed Martin, Boeing, NASA, the government of Israel, and others. So this is sort of like investing in 5G. If they can make their product stand out, I believe it can make the company a lot of money. They're developing technologies for 5 and 6G and quantum computing. Quantum computing, which is like the next level of computing. They have a very low debt to capital and would have no problems paying their debt, so they don't have a lot of debt. But this company is still in the R&D phase. But right now, it looks they're trading around book value, and there's been some insider buying, which I like to see. This could potentially be a good buy at the price that it's currently at, about $3. Last time we looked at it was around $6 a share. So $3, I think it's still a good buy. If anybody did buy into it, I still think it's a good buy. I still think it's a good company. They're working on quantum computing. They actually have some technologies in that sector that they have been developing. So I think AMPG could be a good one to take a look at. Medium risk for today, QYLD. This is the global NASDAQ covered call ETF. So this is a covered call ETF that buys or sells 1 month at the money covered call options. So basically you have a basket of stocks and they're selling covered calls on those call options on those stocks. It could do well in almost any market environment. Currently has an 11.44% dividend yield, which is huge. So if you're looking for something that's fairly safe, this could be a fairly good bet. Traditionally trades in the $22 to $24 range. March 2020 and then February this year, it dropped down to in the 18s, and it's still in the 20s. So this fund has around $6 billion in assets and an expense ratio of 0.6%, has a 4-star Morningstar rating, and average returns of around 8% since inception. I've held this fund before for the dividend yield. And if you don't want to sell any covered calls on the shares that you do own, then this could be a good ETF for you to make some dividend income money at 11.44%, which is huge dividend. Then also, since it is the weekend, stock markets aren't going to be open, so let's take a look at cryptocurrency. If you want to do some trading this weekend, cryptocurrency is your bet. I like Bitcoin. It's the beginning of the month, so make sure that you take a look at what cryptocurrencies you want to put some money in. What do I think of HCMC? I am in HCMC, actually. I bought it a while back. I haven't taken a look at WTER. Let me take a look at it. I read an article about HCMC that could potentially be worth some money. It's still trading over the counter. It's still trading OTC, so it's a pink sheet stock. But I am invested in HCMC. I've got a couple 100,000 shares, and it was like $300 or something like that.
Dang.
Awesome. Are there any other companies you'd like me to take a look at? Patrick, I'm going to take a look at WTER. You can put those in the comment. Yes, the last ETF was QYLD. So the two for today are AMPG. That's a high risk. Medium risk is QYLD. It trades in a range, so between $22 and $24 usually. And then if there's a big market something like the invasion of Ukraine, it dropped down to around $18, which did the same thing in March. But it has that 11.44%. So basically, you're investing in covered calls. You're getting part of the money that this ETF makes from selling covered calls. SOXS. I'll take a look at that one. That is true. Military industrial companies do look good right now. Especially with all the NATO countries and other countries deciding that they're going to buy more stuff, buy more weaponry. CTM coin. All right, if you'd like to invest in everything that we do here at Revival Today, I'll give you an opportunity to do that now. And this week we had the giveaway, How to Make Money in the Stock Market by William J. O'Neill. So we're going to keep doing that for everybody that's new to investing, anybody watching this on replay or whatever. This is a great book. There are some terms you're going to have to look into, but this is a good, solid foundation on value investing. So this is not get rich quick. This is more value investing. So here's the ways to give, and we'll send that to you as a thank you. Hashtag donate on Facebook, RT to 50155, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. We also accept cryptocurrencies if you'd like to give by cryptocurrencies. And we'll put that screen up now, cryptocurrencies. Just scan that code with your phone or iPad or the camera on your computer. All right. And you can also give by mail. Revival Day, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, Pennsylvania, 15329. And then don't forget to claim your offer. And then have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking the news and checking the market with Miss Matea. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Good time.
Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you all on Tuesday. Go out there and make some money today.